Okay, hi team, hello, welcome to your Movement Flow video. Today we're going to be all focusing on squat prep. So I've got a couple heel elevations laid out. You can use a towel, fraction plate, yoga blocks, whatever is needed, or be flat on the floor. This is just easier for me to demonstrate. Most people can get a little easier torso position when they've got a bit of a heel elevation. So we're going to start in this position, we're just going to put one elbow down and we're gently just going to push this hip out into external rotation. We can use the elbow, you can kind of play around with the position. We're here, we're going to spend some time in this bottom position and try and work on some different movements of your joints to try and increase your range of motion. So I'm going to buzz through this. If you want to go twice around through the video, as per usual, you're more than welcome to. But I'm trying to talk and move at the same time. So if you feel like you need to spend a bit more time on one area, by all means do that. So we're just going to start off nice and easy. If you need to get out of the squat, come back in at any point, that's absolutely fine. Just go as you see fit. We're going to add some rotation in now. So different variations you can do it in. I like grabbing the inside of the ankle and just reaching down. You can come in and making it a bit more dynamic and getting a little bit of assist with this arm as a bit like a fulcrum, or you can hold, breathe out, and try and increase that rotation all the way through. If you want to, you can go hand behind the head and open up a little more challenging on the thoracic in terms of that rotation. If you don't get that assist in, so I've got like the straight arm and trying to reach up and around. I'm going to switch sides, same thing, maybe start a bit smaller, try and ease up. I find it much harder to rotate this way, so this is a bit more of a challenge for me. Try not to strain your neck, try and use your breath to just open up and open that rib cage towards the sky. Try not to move too much with your hips coming up and rotating. Try and stay low in your squat as you rotate. Same thing, variations if you like. So we're now going to get more active. We'll come out a bit, come back in. Active in our squat. So we're going to put our elbows together. You can kind of draw whatever positions you like to. Make your hands at heart center. You're going to squeeze in actively with your knees and push actively out. So you're kind of using your elbows as a little bit of force, so you can get a little bit of isometric contraction as we move. So we're actually using the force of our elbows to try and get that nice, strong activation in both internal and external rotations. Just take your time, moving all the way through, trying to get nice active control. You can pause, you can squeeze, you can hold, and then you can relax and see if you can get a little more range. Sink a bit lower, squeeze in with your elbows, hold for 5 seconds or so, and breathe out. Just see if you can get a bit more movement through there. After that, you can play around with some internal rotation. I've got a little bit of knee pain from kind of past surgery, past injuries. So just be careful if you do. You don't have to go all the way. You can obviously do it completely open. Like I said, sometimes I get a little knee pain. So just try and see, you can use your hands as much as you need to assist that internal and external rotation. Before we get into more squat, we'll show you the hamstring real quick. I'll turn side to side, put your hands underneath or hands on blocks, whatever you need to. Keep a nice knee bend, and then we're just going to elephant walk. Try and straighten out the leg, breathe out, open up and through. It's a nice way to get into the back of the legs, the hamstrings, all the way through, up into your glute without sitting in that squat position for too long. So just round through. You can bend both knees, straighten both up, bend both knees straight up. Like I said, if you do blocks here, you're more than welcome to, or you can have your hands on the fingertips, or have just a much deeper knee bend. I'm just going to go sideways on for the next one. So we're going to do a bit of like a spinal flow. So we're going to try and flex everything, hands behind the head, tuck everything through and sit in as flex position as possible. Then after that, we're going to extend and try and straighten out the spine while staying low in the squat. If you come up a bit, that's all right. We're trying to encourage the spine to go through all movements, including tucking that pelvis and flexing and getting head as close in, and then trying to extend that lumbar spine and the thoracic spine. Squeeze the elbow blades elbow blades. Squeeze the elbows together, shoulder blade back into that full extension, and then back all the way through. You can do it as a whole piece. You can try and segment it and try and start low and move all the way up slowly, and maybe start at the top, flex everything, and then tuck everything through. But just play around with the position. You can move around, up and through, up and through. Cool. So we've been in that squat position quite a lot now. We're going to move into some active positions. These are kind of my favourite couple of squat variations that aren't kind of full squatting or normal squatting. So ballerina type squatting, you're going to stay up onto the heels, drop, allow your knees to go over your toes as much as possible, and then come all the way up. You can stay up, or you can let the heels come back down, and then reset every rep. I really want to focus on that knee going way over that toe, and getting nice full knee flexion, and try to sit upright. Try not to flex too much, or bend over too much. Try and stay a bit more upright, because we're trying to focus on driving the knee out over the toe. This position here is often much more secure for people and allows people to get through much more range. If you want to, you can kind of play around with that position, come forward a bit more, sit and up. Do a couple more. Nice, sitting nice and tall, driving the knee over. Ideally doing this barefoot, because you're going to get some really nice stretching right into your plantar fascia, as well as working through your toes than you would with shoes. So kind of the reverse. We're going to go toes pointing outwards, feet wide, and we're going to go into this kind of goddess squat, this horse stance, this wide sumo legged position. And so it's kind of going to do the reverse. You're going to put a lot of stress or stretch onto those adductors inside of the thighs, and you can just work through, trying to keep the knees out, trying to increase that external rotation in the hip, and feeling that big stretch on the inside. I quite like sitting in that squat and just shifting a little bit to the left and to the right, pausing for a few seconds before coming out. You can kind of really feel all different parts of that hip. Same thing, if you feel like you're tighter on one side, I know I am on my left, you spend a bit more time trying to bias that position to try and get nice and deep in that squat. Cool, after that you can just do a few kind of regular squats, see how your squats feel. Do they feel better? Do I have a bit more range of motion? Do I have a bit more lumbar control? Can I move my thoracic spine a bit better? Can I rotate? And just see how you feel in those positions. Cool, any questions? Let me know.